Hi friends, in this video we will be discussing the topic Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is actually introduced by Abraham Maslow in 1943 when he was publishing a paper which was titled as A Theory of Human Motivation. So in 1943 Abraham Maslow has published or introduced a paper which was titled as A Theory of Human Motivation, in which he has proposed a theory called the hierarchy of needs. So what is this hierarchy of needs? According to Maslow, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is basically a theory which is associated with psychology, and it explains the human motivation of pursuing various needs, or it defines or it explains the human motivation based on the pursuit of different levels of needs. So for us, for human beings, we have a lot of needs, like our physiological needs, our social needs, then we have our psychological needs. We have a lot of types of needs, and in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow is actually explaining the different levels or the different levels in the human motivation in pursuing these different needs. So he is making a hierarchy of these various needs on the basis of human motivation on achieving, or the human motivation for achieving or pursuing these needs of human beings. So what this theory states is that humans are motivated to fulfill their needs in a hierarchical order. So as we have already mentioned, or as we have already discussed, we have different types of needs, and this hierarchy of needs, which was proposed by Maslow, explains the human motivation in pursuing those needs. So what this theory states, the human beings are motivated to fulfill their needs on the basis of a hierarchical order. So he is making a hierarchical order of the various needs of human beings, which is based on the motivation that we have in order to pursue those needs. So it is like from the need that requires the least amount of motivation, and then we have the next level, and then which is followed by the next level of motivation. So it is like a hierarchical order, and which explains the motivation of human beings to fulfill those needs, and this is in a hierarchical order. This order begins with the most basic needs before moving on to more advanced needs. So we already said that this hierarchy of needs is basically a list of human needs which is arranged in an order. So what is the order here? The order begins with our basic needs, the most basic needs of the human beings, and then it moves towards the more advanced needs. So the hierarchy of needs is basically a hierarchical order of the various needs that we have as human beings, and it starts with the very basic needs, and then it moves to the most complex or the most advanced needs. So here you have the various needs, or the hierarchy of needs that was proposed by Maslow. So we have basically the physiological needs, which includes food, water, warmth and rest. So these are some examples of our physiological needs, and then we have the safety needs. So the safety needs is above the physiological needs in the hierarchy. That means at the least level will be the first focus of a human being in order to achieve his needs is on these physiological needs. So first and foremost we will be focusing on our physiological needs of food, water, warmth, rest and all that. So after fulfilling those needs only we will be moving to our safety needs. So safety needs includes our security and safety and all that. So a person who is having proper food for 3 times a day, he will, after having that kind of a basic need, he will only think about having a house or a shelter. So that is the basic idea. So physiological need is the basic thing, the basic need that we have. So after fulfilling that need only, we will be thinking of a more advanced need, that is safety and security. So after that we will be thinking of belongingness and love needs, and then we have the esteem needs. So these safety needs and physiological needs, they can be called as the basic needs, and the belongingness and love needs and also the esteem needs can be categorized under the psychological needs. So belongingness and love needs basically means our intimate relationships, our friendships and all that, and esteem needs refers to the prestige and feeling of accomplishment. So after having proper food, after having proper water, warmth and rest, then only we will be thinking of having a shelter or having proper security and safety, and after fulfilling these two needs, the basic needs, which includes the physiological needs and safety needs, then only we will be think about the psychological needs. So psychological needs includes our belongingness and love needs, so our relationships and our friendships and all that. So if we don't have proper food, then we don't think about friendships and relationships at the first place. We will be thinking at the first place we will be thinking of our basic needs, our basic requirements, then only we will be moving to these kinds of relationships and friendships and all that. For a person who doesn't have proper food and water, he cannot think of anything beyond that. He not like beyond that, he cannot think of having a belongingness or having these love needs and all that. He will be focusing on how to fulfill his basic needs. So after fulfilling the basic needs, he will be thinking of having a shelter or having a security and all that. So that comes under safety needs, and after that only we can think or we will be thinking of these belongingness and love needs and all that. So after fulfilling that need, we will be moving to our esteem needs. So what are our esteem needs? Prestige and feeling of accomplishment. So that comes next to belongingness and love needs. Please do remember that hierarchy of needs is basically giving you an order of various needs of human beings which are arranged on the basis of human motivation. So it's like the human motivation of achieving or having the physiological needs comes at the first place, then we will be moving to the safety needs, then we will be moving to the belongingness and love needs, then we move to the esteem needs. So finally the highest of these hierarchy of needs is self-actualization, that can be called as self-fulfillment needs. So we have basic needs which includes physiological needs and safety needs, then we have the psychological needs which includes the belongingness and love needs and also esteem needs, and finally at the highest level we have the self-fulfillment needs which includes self-actualization. So what happens in self-actualization? This is the point where we are achieving our full potential which includes our creative activities. So after fulfilling all these needs, we can come to a point of self-actualization. So we need to fulfill our physiological needs at the first point, then we have to fulfill our safety needs, then we have to fulfill our psychological needs which includes belongingness and love needs, and then comes esteem needs, then only we think of self-actualization, or then only we can achieve this self-actualization. So it is like a order, it goes in an order. So the first motivation, the human motivation first is focused on our basic needs. So after fulfilling those needs only we will be moving to the higher levels of needs. So what is the highest level of need according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? That is self-actualization, which includes our achievements of full potential and the creative activities and all that. So what exactly this Maslow's hierarchy of needs states? So basically we know that for a learner or for a student to fulfill or to give his or her full potential, he or she has to be fulfilled with all these basic needs. So for a kid who is not having basic food, or a kid who is not having or a kid who is doesn't having the fulfillment of the psychological needs like belongingness and love needs and all that, at times they cannot give their full potential in their studies for a learner. So that is what this hierarchy of needs basically means. So when we are learning this theory in the context of teaching aptitude, we have to understand that what is the real meaning of these kinds of hierarchy of needs and what is the importance of studying this theory under teaching aptitude. That is basically the learner or the student. If you consider a learner or a student, if that learner or student has to give the full potential, if that learner is expected to give his or her full potential in the field of study, then they have to be given the basic needs. So if we consider a classroom, for example, if a student is not getting proper food, or the student is not having a proper good relationship in the family, then that will affect his or her studies as well. He or she cannot give his or her full potential in the field of learning. So that is what this hierarchy of needs means in the context of learning process. Okay. So please do remember that aspect as well. So Maslow has created a hierarchy of needs which is basically an order of the various needs of human beings, which is arranged on the basis of human motivation. So, in the base level, we first require our basic needs. We need or we are motivated to fulfill our basic needs at the first place, which includes the physiological needs and safety needs. So, physiological needs comes first. We will be motivated to fulfill that need at the first place. Please do remember that. So, that includes food, water, warmth, rest and all that. So, after fulfilling that kind of needs, the physiological needs only, then we will be moving to safety needs. After completing or after fulfilling our physiological needs only, we will be moving to our safety needs, which includes safety, security and all that. Maybe having a shelter for you, that kind of an aspect comes in safety needs. So, after completing these basic needs, after fulfilling the basic needs only, human beings think of this belongingness and love needs and esteem needs. So, these two needs comes under the psychological needs, and belongingness and love needs includes our friendships, our relationships and all that. And then comes esteem needs, which includes the prestige and feeling of accomplishment, that kind of needs. The confidence kind of things comes under esteem needs. And finally, you have the self-actualization, which is the self-fulfillment needs, which comes at the peak or which comes at the highest level in the hierarchy of needs. In self-actualization, what it really means, which means the achievement of one's full potential or having a creative abilities or having or exhibiting creative abilities and creative activities comes under self-actualization. So, please do remember this hierarchy, this order. So, always remember that this is based on the human motivation of pursuing human needs. So, after fulfilling the base things or after fulfilling the basic needs, we will be moving to the higher ones. And also remember the most highest need of human beings, that is self-actualization according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, now we are moving to a few questions that were asked from this particular area in the previous years. So, this is a question that was asked in December 2018, and the question goes like this: for promoting competence and excellence in and through education, which of the needs of Maslow's hierarchy has to be addressed? And you have the options: need for love and belongings, then you have need for self-esteem, then you have safety needs, and finally you have need for self-actualization. So, what is the question here? So, the question says that for promoting competence and excellence in and through education, which of the needs of Maslow's hierarchy has to be addressed? So, in order to give your full potential in the education or in the learning process, or in order to promote competence and excellence in and through education, which of the needs that is mentioned in Maslow's hierarchy of needs should be focused? So, when we discussed about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we said that the self-actualization is the part where we are able to give our full potential to something that we are doing. So, we have discussed it in the context of learning process or the teaching education context as well. So, for a child to give his or her full potential, that comes under the self-actualization part. So, for that he has to be or she has to be given all the basic needs which comes before that, the basic needs, then the psychological needs and all that, then only we can think of the self-actualization or the self-fulfillment needs. So, here the question is for promoting competence and excellence in and through education, which of the needs of Maslow's hierarchy has to be addressed? So, in order to promote competence and excellence in this particular field of learning or in the educational field, what we need is the self-actualization. So, that is the part where we can give our full potential, and when we are giving our full potential, that will promote competence and excellence. So, the right answer for this question is option D, that is need for self-actualization. Now, we are moving to our next question that was asked in June 2020, and what is the question? Which of the following need strengths in Maslow's hierarchy are related to higher order learning? And you have options here: physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, needs for self-actualization, and you have to choose the correct answer from the options given below. So, you have a pair of two options in each of these. So, you have to find out the higher order learning. that two of the higher order learning that is associated with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, which of the following need strengths in Maslow's hierarchy are related to higher order learning? If you consider the options, you have physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and finally needs for self-actualization. So, from the options you can say that needs for self-actualization is the most highest level or order in the needs, that comes as the highest need in the hierarchy of needs which was proposed by Maslow, and after that or before that needs for actualization comes the esteem needs, right. So, esteem needs and needs for self actualization comes at the highest level in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, we know that physiological needs is basically the need of food, water, warmth, rest and all that comes as the basic need part of human beings. Then we have safety needs, social needs and esteem needs. Then you have needs for self actualization as well. So, as per the question, the right answer for this question is option D and E, esteem needs and needs for self actualization. So, which of the following need strengths in Maslow's hierarchy are related to higher order learning? So, in order to have higher order learning, we need esteem needs and also need for self actualization. Self actualization helps us to give our full potential in the field of learning or in the field of education, and esteem needs is actually the feeling of accomplishment or that confidence part of us that is also required for learning process, right. So, this is the right answer for this question is option D and E. Which of the following needs strengths in Maslow's hierarchy are related to higher order learning? So, when you are learning Maslow's hierarchy of needs, please do remember that we have to associate it with the context of teaching and learning or in the context of education. So, we can answer the questions that will come from this particular area. So, esteem needs and needs for self actualization are needed for higher level learning because this esteem needs includes our sense of accomplishment, the confidence, self-confidence and all that. So, that is required for learning, and also self-actualization includes our abilities in the giving our full potential in what we are doing, that comes under self-actualization, or you can call it as the self-fulfillment needs. So, these are the two needs that you have to or you need in the process of learning and which can be considered as the hierarchy of needs which are associated with the higher order learning. So, you can opt option D, which includes D and E. Alright. So, in this video we have discussed about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have discussed about the various needs that are arranged in Maslow's hierarchy of needs in the context of human motivation, or how we are motivated in order to pursue the various needs, and it is arranged in the hierarchical order. So, we have various needs in our lives and we are motivated to pursue that needs in a particular order. So, that is based on the motivation, human motivation, and also we have discussed about these Maslow's hierarchy of needs in the context of education and teaching learning as well, and also we have discussed a few questions that were asked from this particular area in the previous years as well. So, I hope this video will help you in your preparation for Nta Ugc NET and JRF paper 1. Thank you.